Hello, my name is Jerry Capizzuto from Soundpath.org. I also run the Liberation Academy.education as well as GodIsLoveTruthFreedom.com. And today we have an amazing special guest, Mark Passio. Mark Passio is an anarchist, independent researcher, public speaker, internet talk show host, documentary filmmaker, technology seminar instructor, conference organizer, lead vocalist, and freedom activist from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Mark has undertaken the task of assembling vast amounts of research in the areas of metaphysics, occultism, spirituality, symbology, and consciousness studies. In 2007, Mark began presenting this information in the form of a presentation series entitled What on Earth is Happening? With the intention of bringing the implications of this body of knowledge to greater public awareness. Mark launched his own website in 2008 at whatonearthishappening.com. In 2010, Mark began hosting his own internet radio show called What on Earth is Happening, which has hundreds of episodes to date. Mark was one of the co-founders of the Free Your Mind Conference, the Philadelphia-based conference on consciousness, mind control, and the occult. Mark has taught intensive live seminars, including natural law, streetwise spirituality, New Age BS, and demystifying the occult. Mark's the creator and instructor of How to Become the True Media, an online seminar founded by him in 2020, which teaches best practices for communication and publishing in the digital age to aspiring content creators. He's the creator and curator of the One Great Work Network, a privately organized collective of conscious individuals who each create dynamic content for the purpose of spreading the message of natural law, truth, and freedom to a worldwide audience. In 2021, Mark released his first feature length documentary film entitled Mark Passio and the Science of Natural Law, which focuses on the core of his teaching regarding morality and freedom. Mark was also the founding member and lead vocalist of the Philadelphia based anarchist hardcore punk band, The Founders. Welcome, Mark.
Jerry, thank you so much for inviting me on the show today. I appreciate it.
Oh, we're very grateful that, of all your support with Soundpath. Some people may not know, but you've been very gracious in, sharing your technology with us so that we can basically run this festival. And you've been there for us on just as needed advice, especially technical advice. And we're just very grateful for all your support.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. I wanted to invite you on here because I notice a lot in our sort of natural law community that a lot of our artists, or excuse me, a lot of our content creators are artists.
Yes.
And you have that as well, and so do I. And I would love to hear your thoughts about maybe why are there so many musicians and artists amongst us as content creators?
I think music and art plays a huge and integral role in really the awakening process. I mean, if you just think how many artists over time, whether it be in music or elsewhere, have really communicated a message of freedom and communicated a message of individuality and creativity. I grew up listening to bands like Black Sabbath, and a lot of people think, oh, heavy metal bands, they're somehow satanic or they're just putting out a bad message. And I mean, if you really read the lyrics, they're talking about all the issues of the world that are screwed up so badly and need to change. And their voice is an agency for change, in my estimation. A lot of other metal bands shared that message, especially in the early 80s, throughout the mid 80s, and into the 90s a little bit. And then metal really started changing and, in my estimation, going downhill along with other forms of music. Look at punk rock in the early days, which was about rebellion against the status quo and not being just a conformist. And
Right.
look at how the punk rock scene has changed. I mean, I formed a punk rock band to rebel against the way that punk changed, and we had songs about how punk had become fake and just completely conformist and just being like wearing an outfit, literally like being a Halloween costume. In the Founders, I wrote a song called Hipsters in Costumes, and that's not strongly worded enough. It should have been called Communists in Costumes, based on what the punk rock scene has devolved into. So I think in general, music and arts basically activates the right side of the brain. It activates the creative aspect of the mind. And for a true awakening process to happen, you need that part of the brain and mind active. You need that brought forward, and it's not just about intellect. It's not just about, the left brain and just intellect and logic. Of course, that has to be present. That left brain aspect is as critical, because if you don't know how to think and you don't know how to perform logic upon large amounts of information to really extract an understanding from a body of knowledge, then you don't have the trivium process in hand, and you're not going to really awaken truly. But the right brain aspects are just as important, and that is the creative aspect of holistic thought, of the holistic mind. And so many people don't have that, especially in the freedom movement. I mean, if you really look at the freedom movement, it's a lot of people who are just, oh, I just want the government off my back, and I want their reach off of my money. And it's what I call the my freedom movement. And these are largely people without creative aspects of the mind and without a holistic intelligence. So many people don't really understand how we have to fully awaken, and we have to change our own thoughts. We have to go deep into our own psychology and really understand what's going on within us. And that's the process of shadow work, as I talk about it in my work. And I think music and art has a lot to do with awakening that spirit inside of us, that dynamic, to make ourselves whole. And so many people, even within the freedom movement, forget the regular population. So many people in the freedom movement lack that, don't think that that's important, don't want that to be brought forward, aren't trying to bring that forward inside of themselves. And that means that they're not really engaging in a process of holistic, deep psychological work upon the self. And you know, an alleged movement without that is rearranging furniture on a sinking ship. That's literally how important I think the right brain creative aspects of our mind are.
Wow. I love everything you said, and I want to make sure we plug your shadow work seminar, which is happening. People can donate for a ticket at whatonearthishappening.com, which I'll drop in the link, excuse me, the chat. I will drop the link in the chat, excuse me. And yes, that's happening November 22nd, live on Telegram. And we actually did a raffle. Um, just to sort of support and cross promote our work. And I am pleased to announce the raffle winner is Stefana Johnson. So, Stefana, if you're listening, Soundpath will be sending you the ticket information for your Shadowwork seminar experience. And I'm so glad that you're doing this seminar because, um, especially with the music project that we're doing, this festival, I think so much of the healing from the brainwashing, the programming, the lies can come from music. What are your thoughts on this idea?
I think it can be an enhancement to that process. I think there's no substitute for the direct psychological work that I'm going to talk about in the shadow work seminar, but I think music can be a very healing dynamic. Um, I mean, let's face it, like we all need this psychological work. We all need, um, to work upon ourselves. And I'm no exception to that. I feel like I've done the type of shadow work that I'm talking about recently within the last few years, and it's ongoing. It's like it never really stops, but I've gone deeper into that work in the last couple of years because of traumas that I've personally been through. Um, this year is no exception. It's been one of the toughest years of my life, 2025. I don't know whether it's going to get any better with doing the shadow work seminar or even worse. But so I'm glad that I'm doing it. But from another perspective, it's sort of bittersweet because it's going to be a lot of deep introspective work for myself to even put this seminar together. And I often second guess how effective things are going to be with how badly people have gone in the wrong direction. Um, just to, put out some negative stuff, if you want to call it that, and I'll try to, focus in on a little bit of the positive as well. But if I have to be honest, where the so-called freedom movement is heading is absolutely in 180 degrees the wrong direction. And this is evidenced by a lot of things. This is evidenced by if on a daily basis I even try to find content online to listen to, like in the moment, like if I just like now after this interview, if I want to go and just listen to some comment, I'd probably have to go back into old information and old content. Um, the things that 99.5% of the active so-called freedom community is putting out into the world, to me, in the current day, is completely unlistenable. It's unwatchable. It's unlistenable. It's with the exception of some of the content creators on One Great Work Network, um, the information that is being put out online into the community of people who say that they are interested in human freedom is so deplorably bad that I cannot believe. I have a difficult time even conceptualizing or believing that this is where people's minds are at in the year 2025. And that's horrendously sad. And I would use the word that I'm tortured by this. This tortures me. It's not just sad, it's not just profoundly sad and profoundly supremely disappointing. It's torturous, because to speak for as long as I have spoken on the topics that I have spoken about and explain to people in very clear, impossible to misconstrue terms about what really needs to happen and what really needs to be done, and the aspects of psychological work that the people in this community really need to do and focus on and talk about, where they believe the solutions lie is so tragically awful that it is like I've been saying nothing. I might as well not have spoken, which is why I think about the shadow work seminar in very conflicting terms, even in my own mind. I think, this is going to be an unimaginable labor of love whereby I am going to have to put off many things in my life to get this seminar prepared. And that's already in the process of happening. And that often bothers me. And this is like the psychological work I need to do, is to say, for the individuals that it will assist, I need to just focus on this and do that, all that preparatory work to put this seminar together. But then the aspect of me that is like, well, look at all the work that I have put forward and look at what people still believe. Look at how in a 180-degree backwards direction almost the entirety of the so-called freedom movement, and I always use the term so-called freedom movement. We do not have a freedom movement. There is no such thing. There is no such thing as a freedom movement, because for there to be a freedom movement, human beings in mass would have to truly understand, first of all, what freedom truly is. Secondly, what actually generates freedom. We don't even have a community of people that knows what the state of freedom actually is. They don't know where it comes from. They don't know what generates it. They're not talking about those things. They believe in political saviors. They believe in politics, period, first of all, number one. They think there is any political solution. They think politics can ever generate anything good. We're still at the level in 2025 of completely and utterly flawed axiomatic thinking. An axiom means an underlying foundational worldview from which you are going to derive and build everything that comes after it and is built on top of it. And if you're completely incorrect at the axiomatic level, the truly foundational level of your worldview and belief system, nothing can ever be built on top of that completely unsound foundation that is ever going to make something and generate something truly good in our world. Not for ourselves, not for anyone else. And this is what I feel the entire freedom community still lacks an understanding of. That they really have and I think it's really because of all the political divide and the political um, machinations behind the scenes of pitting everybody against each other, the agenda of have this political dialectic and make everybody fight amongst each other. 99% of the so-called freedom community just buys into that because they never really had the thinking of what true freedom is. They never really were on hit the bullseye or were on target about what the solutions really are, what the requirements for freedom are, how freedom is actually generated or destroyed. And that's because they don't understand freedom is hinged upon one thing in human reality, and that is morality. Morality determines the state of freedom. And we're not even there. What the freedom community, so called, is not even at that place where they understand that all human freedom is hinged upon morality and true objective morality, not religious morality. So, once again, people will hear the word morality, and because of existing brainwashing that has been done by the occult and the deep state, people still don't understand morality and religion are not equivalents of each other. They have nothing to do with each other in many cases. You could say, perhaps one could say the original intent of some religions is to instill true morality in the population that follows it or researches it or looks into it. But in most cases, that's not even the case. So disconnect the idea of religion from true morality. Religious morality is dogmatically derived from flawed people. True morality comes from the creator of the universe itself and is just another aspect of all of the laws of creation that are built into the fabric of the universe. It's a natural thing, not an artificially derived mental construct. And this is what people still can't understand. And it's what religious people who then say that they want freedom can't get their mind out of that prison, out of that cage for thought that has been built for them by the dogma of their religion and their religious upbringing. And this is what has to change. When you tell people your religion doesn't hold the answers, they're immediately on the defense. Then they immediately want to attack the messenger and say there's something wrong with the messenger and the message. No, the problem is the ego holding on to something that doesn't serve human freedom and never will or can serve human freedom. People still don't even understand the general concept that the goal of all true spirituality is the destruction of human slavery and the birth of true human freedom into the cosmos so that we can honor the greatest gift of the Creator, which is free will. They don't even get that that's the whole point of all spirituality, to make that outcome occur. Not to just have it in your mind as, oh, that's a nice idea. I'm
Right.
not in this to lose. I'm not playing to lose. I'm not saying, oh, it's just a nice idea to want to be free. And, oh, it's just a nice idea to have this idea of morality and to want to be good. I want to win. I want to defeat human slavery. I want humanity to be born into the wider cosmos and go on to do unbelievably amazing things as a species. Not to be stuck on this planet, not to be stuck in a state of slavery, not to be stuck in never-ending mental cages from which people never escape because they're just not strong enough, because they just are so weak that they can't give up the chains that have bound their minds for centuries upon centuries. And when you tell people this, they want to attack you and say there's a problem with your message, or you're too angry. I'm angry because all there is in this entire movement, even among the so-called freedom crowd, is endless mental bondage. It's ignorance. It's pure ignorance. It's not true morality. So many people, I mean, I'll just come forward without using names. Things that I've heard in recent memory. Oh my goodness, if people live together before marriage, that's just a sin against God. I mean, you gotta be out of your ever loving mind at this point to believe that's what morality is and not understand. Don't coerce other people, don't deceive other people, don't steal from other people, don't hurt other people, don't kill other people. You know, you can't grasp that morality is don't take what isn't yours. And you want to say, oh, it's people of the same sex having sex with each other, or it's two people living together without the religious institution of marriage being executed as a sacrament. I mean, this is where religious mindsets get you. And then people will wonder, why is morality a dirty word in the year 2025? Why is that a dirty four-letter word? You know, you say that morality is the answer to most people, and all of the atheists come out of the woodwork and say, "Oh, that's religion." No, it's not religion. It's the understanding of how to truly be free and how to truly be a good person. Listen, freedom is not for bad people. That's what people have to just understand. If you don't understand real morality, you're a bad person and you can never be free, and you shouldn't. Bad people should be enslaved. Bad people should be chained. Bad people should be bound. Bad people should be restrained. And they shouldn't have the greatest gift of the cosmos and the creator of free will. That's going to be bound right out of their existence. Freedom is reserved for good people. Freedom is reserved for a truly moral people. When people are moral, they become free. When people are immoral, they become enslaved. And that's the law that God put into the universe. And it's correct. There's nothing wrong with that law. The only issue I have with that entire worldview and understanding of how the laws of the universe work is, unfortunately, we are also one consciousness, so that if the totality of the consciousness is bad, there are cells within the consciousness that also get bound into the state of slavery, no matter how good they are. So is every cell in a body, when the body gets infested with cancer, cancerous? No. Most of the cells are not cancerous, as a matter of fact. Even if cancer metastasizes, there's probably more non-cancerous cells in the body upon the time of death than there were cancerous cells in the body. It doesn't matter. The body is still going to die. It's still going to share the same fate that all the other cancer cells are going to share. It's going to be death and ultimate non-existence, at least in the physical. My point is, we either get out of this altogether or no one gets out of it. And this is what the freedom movement can't understand, because we don't have a freedom movement. We have a my freedom movement. I want the government away from my money. I want the government's hands off of my rights. I want this. I want that. I want to be safe. I want to be comfortable. The people in this entire community still in the year 2025 have not expanded their consciousness outward to include everybody. And that doesn't just mean human beings, it means all life, all beings, period. They
Right.
still can't get that idea because the ego has them. They're still in the grip of the ego. They're still latching on to all their sensate pleasures. If I was latched onto all of my sensate pleasures, I wouldn't put together a shadow work seminar for a very few people that I believe are going to truly get it, even from an intellectual perspective, let alone from a holistic perspective. So few people, the amount of work I put into into the Two Masks presentation that I delivered in late 2023, the amount of sensate good times / pleasure that I gave up to research, put together, and deliver that presentation was so colossally devastating to my life as an individual that I want that time back. I want the time back of all the years that I spent in the What on Earth is Happening preparation of all those presentations and all those podcasts. I would like to have that time back to enjoy myself, to go out on beautiful sunny days, to go down to the ocean and to get in the water, you know, to go to see music festivals and concerts, to go bowling, which I used to enjoy, you know. I'll never get that time back. Other people just spend their lives pursuing all the sensate pleasures that they can. They don't want to give them their lives for any service toward other people or to the truth. They just want to be selfish losers and just keep doing for them, for them, for them, for them, for them. This is the problem. That's what Satanism is. That's what the satanic ego is that has almost everybody. Instead of saying, no, I'm going to put off that sensate pleasure, I'm going to put off the good times that I could have had, and I'm going to do some work to try to elevate human consciousness, they don't. And it falls to a tiny few amount of individuals that end up basically wasting their lives doing things that don't really amount to much. Like, let's face it, my work hasn't amounted to much. My work has not amounted to much. Who's listening to what I'm talking about on a wider basis? Where are the influencers talking about Mark Passio and his work? And I'm not even talking about, I don't care that it's my work. Where are they talking about natural law? Where are they talking about real morality? They're all just analyzing the furniture on a sinking ship. Well, would you look at that nice ottoman over there? Would you look at that wonderful couch and chair? Isn't that beautiful and ornate? Let's examine all the intricacies of it. You
Right.
know, this is the absolute madness. These people are mentally ill. They're mentally ill. They'll look at someone like me that's talking about real morality and they'll say, oh, you're crazy. You're out of your mind. No, you're fucking crazy and out of your mind. That's the problem. You think an analysis of the political situation on Earth is going to act in any way as an awakening event or a process to help humanity? You're out of your goddamn mind. Completely a lunatic. Lunacy is what that is. Absolute insanity. You belong in a mental asylum. All of the influencers, all of the real big influencers that's all they yap about and quack about all day. I really should go get my newest prop and break it out for the first time publicly. Should I do it? Maybe I will. I got to keep it here by the desk for when I do interviews so I can break out my newest prop and show everybody what I think of the wider freedom community. And I know I'm ranting and I'm going on about it, but in all honesty, until we start having this discussion, nothing's going to change. Until people start holding other people's feet to the fire in the so-called freedom community. If somebody says, you're a person that wants freedom, well, let me talk about what you've been doing. You've been analyzing the patterns on the furniture on a sinking ship. That's literally what these people do. And when anybody that covers the real issues is brought up to them, I want no part of that. I'm not interested in that. I'm going to keep analyzing the patterns on the furniture on the ship that's sinking while I'm on it. This is how crazy these people are. They're literally sick. They're literally mentally sick. And I will hold to that position. I won't back down. I don't care who I offend. And this is the problem with the rest of the freedom community, is they're actually tuned in and listening to these people instead of the voice of actual wisdom that's trying to teach them about true morality. Becoming a truly moral people is the only way humanity can ever become free. We are so far off of that mark. We're not even moving in the right direction. It's over here, we're over here, and we're going like this. Way in the opposite direction. We're not even making progress moving close to it. Not even in the close to the right direction. And then people will be like, he's black-pilled. He's a doomsayer. No, I'm not. I'm just trying to tell people this is the goal. Here's where we're at. We're over here and we're going like this. We're not going like this. That's it. That's reality. I'm a realist. I'm not a black pilled person. I'm not a person who sees the world as, oh, it's all just wonderful and it's all moving according to plan. It's very simple. You tell the truth about how people are progressing, and we are progressing like shit. It is the freedom movement is garbage. Garbage, and it has to be told to them. It has to be said. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't know where you're headed. You don't even know what the goal truly is, and you don't know how to get there, and you're moving in exactly the opposite direction from the direction you need to be moving in. You have no frame of reference because you have no understanding, and the reason you have no understanding is because you don't have the grammar. You don't have the building blocks of knowledge. You don't have enough information. These are all people who think they know enough. They don't have enough information. They're basically stupid people. Stupid people are people who think they have enough information when they do not. And they keep pressing and pressing and pressing and thinking they're heading in the right direction when the people are trying to tell them, listen, you're moving in the wrong direction, and it's because you don't have enough knowledge. You don't have any bearings. You don't know where you need to go. That's called being stupid while you think you're smart. And that's what these people are. And that isn't me. And again, people will say that's arrogance. Oh, you're so arrogant. You're just tooting your own horn. No, I busted my fucking ass for decades to take in the grammar to understand how freedom is truly generated. I busted my ass for decades to figure out who really is running things and how they do it, how they convince people to do their evil for them. I know all of the deep psychological aspects and all of the shadow work that needs to be done to solve the problem. I have the solutions in hand. That's not arrogance to say that. It just happens to be a matter of a fact. It is the actual factual nature of what I happen to know. That's all. It's not arrogant to say that at all. If you're a master chef and you know how to bake the best souffle in the world, it's not arrogant to say, I'm a master chef. I practiced this for decades and decades, and I'm the best at it. That's not arrogance. That's fact of the matter. The best sports players in the world or the top MMA athletes in the world can say, I'm the best because here's the Super Bowl ring that proves it. Here's the championship trophy that proves it. Here's the title belt that proves it. It's not arrogance. It's just the fact of the matter. At this time in human history, they're the best at what they do. The end. So the problem is people hear all these nonsensical things that sound reasonable to them. These are aphorisms that sound like, oh, that's such a good thing. Like, oh, you the only thing you could ever be sure of is that you really know nothing. Really. Again, that amounts to solipsism. This is what so many people in the freedom movement think. And if you say, hey, I know what I'm talking about, I've put the hours in. I've not put the hours in, I've put the decades in. Forget the years. I've put the decades into the understanding of how this works. I'm an expert on it. That doesn't mean I'm anybody's authority or could tell them what to do. But when you know more than just about anybody else knows on a topic, that means you're the go-to expert on it because you've put the work in. You've put the research in. You've put the years and the decades in. And this is the problem, is that people hear these stupid new age aphorisms that just sound good to an ignorant, unenlightened mind. And they're like, oh, he's just saying he knows something. And a really enlightened person would be like, I know nothing. No, a stupid motherfucker would just say, I know nothing. Let's just put it in street language, and they'd be correct, they'd be correct. I'm not going to lie to people and put forward some false humility that I know nothing. I've studied the dynamics of what generates human freedom and what destroys it. And I know that dynamic. And people will be like, oh, you're talking like you know everything. No, I don't know everything. There's an infinity of things that I do not know. That doesn't mean that I don't know what I do know. You see, you just got to logically understand that. You can know certain things and be sure of them. I'm sure that I know what I know because I've vetted it epistemologically through the trivium, and anybody else can do the same thing. The epistemology is how do you know what you know and that you know it. It's the determination process. It's the truth discovery methodological process of how do you arrive at a place of knowledge. And this is what should be taught to people in school. And the reason it's not taught to people in school is because they don't want you to know. They want you to remain an ignorant fuck your whole life. That's what they want. That's what the controllers want because an ignorant people never understand true morality and therefore can never be free and can always be manipulated and enslaved. It's not that difficult to figure out, ladies and gentlemen. The problem is we have a whole movement of people that will say things like, I don't want to do all that research. I'm not interested in spending my life doing that. Well, guess what? You're going to remain an ignorant fucking slave then. Enjoy. There are people who say, "Oh, I just believe it." You know, any talk of anything like that is negative because they've been completely brainwashed into New Age thinking that anything that sounds negative must be bad or must not lead to our betterment as a species and toward real freedom. That's incorrect. Also, you got to look at everything. There's no such thing as negative knowledge. There's no such thing as taking in something that is a negative thing that is happening in our world doesn't mean that that's itself negative, that process of understanding. The more you understand, the closer you're going to be to truth in reality. The less you understand, the more you're an ignorant person, the more you don't understand anything that's really going on around you or inside of you. And this is the problem. People have not studied the occult. They've not studied the hidden dynamics of our world. This is when I gave the presentation, it was really a full day, an all day seminar called Streetwise Spirituality. Still one of the pieces of work that I feel that I am the most proud of in all of my work. I think Streetwise Spirituality stands right up there among the top things that I've ever done. And when I delivered that presentation, that seminar, the number one aspect of being an awake being someone who is enlightened, awake, aware, etc., whatever you want to call it, was that you have a full understanding of what the occult knowledge is and what it contains. And when I go out into the freedom community, laughingly so called, both, like wrap both words in double quotes, freedom community. We have nothing of either kind. There's no freedom movement and there's no community. It's a loose conglomeration of people who are ignorant to varying degrees. That's what we have, that say that they want freedom and don't know how to achieve it. Let me
Right.
say that again. I want to say that definition again before I continue with how their thinking is so far off the mark. In the freedom community, we don't have a freedom movement, so it's freedom community, and we don't have a true community, it's freedom community. Wrap them both in double quotes because we have neither. Okay, we have a very loose knit conglomeration of people who say that they want freedom, don't know how to achieve it, and are completely ignorant to varying degrees. We don't have a population that is knowledgeable. We don't have a population that is driven. We don't have a population that is actively involved, have skin in the game. We don't have a population that's truly caring. We don't have a population that's on the same page regarding morality. We don't have a population of people that agrees on what the true solutions are and the real requirements for freedom are. We have none of that. If this is evidence. All you have to do is go to a freedom meetup of some type. And I'm finished with them. So this is another thing. I'm actually going to go get my prop in a minute. But I want to just conclude this because it has to be done. People actually need to be insulted in a way that is funny. This is what I almost want to transform my work to. I'd rather do insulting comedy all day than actually try to teach people anymore, because that work's been wasted largely. Some people have gotten it. Some people have gotten it. A tiny, way too tiny few have gotten it. I'm not talking about those people. That's great. The mass majority of the people of Earth haven't gotten even a tiny bit of it because they haven't even been exposed to it, because the people who have gotten it haven't exposed them to it. This is the problem. And the influencers aren't even trying to expose anybody to it. They're just trash. That's what the influencers of our world are. And I'll just look right at the camera and say it right to your face. You're fucking trash. You're trash. You're trashy fucking people. You came from trash. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what culture you're from. I don't care what country you're from. I don't care what state of the United States are from. You're just fucking trash. You have people at your ear. You have them giving them your ear, I should say, and you want to do nothing to promote the real solution. You want to spin around and round on a fucking hamster wheel like an asshole, giving people political analysis. You know what that makes you? An immoral piece of fucking trash that came from a trash fucking family. And I'll just say it just like that, right to their face, and let's fucking go. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Okay? I'm really finished with this community, so called, and I have to move my work into different vistas and different areas. And I think that's going to be, and I've said it on my show in the past, which probably is, I'm really considering not bringing it back because I don't think it does any good. And I'm probably going to go into individuated personal mentoring with only people that I handpick that I think might be able to influence the world for the better. That's it. It's not going to be like, oh, you offer to pay me this much money and I take you on as a student. No, it's not that. It's, I'm going to look at what you have to contribute and think this is the kind of person that I think is a driven individual. And then I'm going to select you as a person I want to mentor. That's it. That's all it's going to be on an individuated basis. That's it. It's not going to be open to the public, so-called. Yeah, I'll pick people from the public, but it's going to be my choosing. It's not going to be like you sign up with a form and then I'm mentoring you. That's not how it's going to work. So I've been putting some more thought into this and thinking like I have to take people that are halfway or 3/4 of the way there, and I got to get them to 150% there, and build an army. That's what I need to build a psychological army. That's what really needs to happen,
Yes.
and part of this all in the freedom community, why they're so ignorant is they don't understand the occult. They don't understand the occult is the hidden dynamics of the workings of nature, in addition to the hidden dynamics of interpersonal psychology. It means that you truly understand deep occult psychology, deeply hidden psychology about the self and your own makeup. And you are going to do the actions that are going to transform the inward aspects of the being in order to truly self-actualize and activate and get involved in the true war for human freedom in the ways that are required. Not how your little ego wants it to work, not how your lazy ass wants it to work and whatever your lazy ass wants to contribute. It means these are the actual boots on the ground requirements, and you're going to get activated to do them. So, on that note, I
Oh,
feel yes. Go ahead.
your mic got muted. I don't know what happened.
Hold. Better.
John, can you hear him?
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. It looks like we had an internet hiccup there. Like someone's connection went offline briefly. I'm still receiving the stream, but it did break up and sort of stop momentarily. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check, check, check. What happened on my end, if anybody can hear this, is things slowed down as if the bandwidth was getting eaten up somehow, or just breaking up and going offline. I can hear your mic much louder.
I can't hear him.
So we might have to stop the stream and restart it. I'm not muted on my end.
That's crazy. Do you want me to
check?
I got an idea.
1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
You can't hear him at all?
Yeah, my audio went out. This has been happening to me. I'm so sorry, Mark, but I don't know what to do either. But maybe we could play if you can hear me, maybe we could play a song or something of yours while we figure out.
I think it's just Jerry unable to hear me, so I'll continue because people in the chat.
I'll play a song. Maybe
people in the chat are saying that they can hear us both. Look at the chat. Look at the chat. Look.
John, help me. He's
at the chat.
I can't hear him.
Just look at the chat. People are saying they can hear us. It's just your headset, apparently. So now I can hear Jerry.
This happened on a different stream. So so while we're getting the prop, I'm gonna play a song from Mark's band while we get this sorted. So I'm going to play, let's see here. We are live. Oh goodness. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna play this Founder song, No Masters, No Slaves. Here we go.
They be singing my
right. Can you hear me now?
I I never stopped hearing you. So I think it was just your
Um,
headset or sound
so
output.
for some reason the sound is not working on my end, but we'll just move forward. And I'll listen on the stream. But maybe you could share your prop you were going to share
Yeah, I
and
went and got
talk a
it.
little bit about that song. And
Yeah, that
yeah, sorry
song
about
was
that.
called "A Nation of Sheep." That was by my former hardcore punk band called the Founders, which I personally described as pretty much the most freedom-oriented band that has ever existed. Because I injected the lyrics with all of the, uh, you know, um, philosophy from What on Earth is Happening, essentially, except in a way that was even more um, anger driven and just very directly pointed at the um, mind controlled willing slaves of our world and the order followers of our world. That's what most of the songs were about. And again, I had songs about the fake losers in the punk community, which isn't even the punk community anymore. They're leftist trash that want America destroyed in favor of communism because they're uh, unread history ignorant retards. And that's what the majority of both the punk and metal communities are these days. Again, put rap community in double quotes. They're just trashy people from trashy backgrounds that think like trash. And there's really no other way to put it. I mean, those music scenes are reflections of the imbecilic nature of the average everyday person. What do you think? Just because it's metal or punk that it's going to magically be made of drastically better people than come from the rest of human society? No. It's like it's the same output that produces politicians, the same output that produces cops, the same output that produces soldiers, the same output that produces everybody else that's totally involved in the satanic system that we live in. So, and again, this all comes down to the failure of the freedom community. We're not doing our jobs as a whole, as a body of people. We've abjectly failed. And this is because most people won't put more skin in the game. They're sitting back, they're watching, they're waiting. I don't know what the fuck they're waiting for, but they're sitting back on the sidelines watching and waiting like this is some fucking TV show on a screen. And it's not. It's real life. The stakes are life and death. The stakes are perpetual slavery of the human species and all the children that are to be born after us. Which, if that doesn't motivate you, I mean, you can't be defined as any more of a piece of trash, you know? And this is the problem, is that we have people that won't demand something better. They won't go to the influencers and say, all we're going to do is talk trash on you until you bring the right people on to discuss the real solutions and stop going around on a fucking hamster wheel like an asshole. That's what needs to be said to them, just like that. How many people are barraging them with that kind of commentary? This is what needs to happen to all the social media influencers and a lot of so-called political influencers. They need to be barraged with the truth, barraged with it to a point where they're uncomfortable. And how many people are doing that? How many people are putting that on their message boards? How many people are putting that in their comments? How many people are putting that in their DMs or whatever? In whatever way that you could communicate with the people who have large audiences' ears. We're never going to get the message out until we make it happen. It's got to be made to happen through force. I don't mean physical force or beating up on people. I mean, you got to make your voice heard to a point where it can't be ignored. And we're not doing that. We're not doing that. That's what having skin in the game is. We're not doing that. Why do you think big influencers don't want to bring Mark Passio on their shows? Don't you think there's a reason for that? Because people will realize, if they really understand my message, they'll realize what fast food junk they're being fed by the so-called influencer, and there goes their money train. That's all it is. Because that's all they're giving people is garbage, fast food, trash for information. That's what it is. And when you realize that's on purpose to keep a fucking audience and keep a gravy train rolling, that means they're trash, just like the trash they're pumping out. They're no different than the average person who's a piece of fucking trash. They're the same. They're cut from the same cloth because they came from the same upbringings of trash. See, this whole thing is about getting out of the trash that was the whole generation before you, the generation that raised you, the generation that made all the fucking other trash that's all around you. This is that song should be called A Nation of Trash instead of A Nation of Sheep, really, because that's more accurate. Because sheep are wonderful animals that should be left the fuck alone. But what we're doing is we're building a nation of trash. It's trash culture. That's what it is. That's what Satanism is. Satanism is just breeding trash for people. That's all it is. It's breeding people who are just selfish, want nothing but for themselves, don't want to fucking assist in bringing anybody up to a higher level of consciousness, and don't give a fuck about anybody's rights being raped all around them, and think somehow they're going to benefit from that mental attitude. That's all Satanism is. And all of the influencers of the so-called freedom movement, I know we're running out of time. I'll wrap up on this note. All they're doing is blowing hot air into the wind. They haven't said a fucking word about a fucking thing. At least I've said what needs to be said. That's what I'll say about my work. That's where I'll say my work shined and was worth doing. What had to be said was said. And I said it. And I said it many fucking times. It wasn't really listened to in mass, but it was said. It was told where it had to be told and who it had to be told to, and I did that. So that's where I achieved and won, if you want to say that, because I did what the creator of the universe charged humanity to do, which was to tell the truth. So what other people in this whole movement are doing and what they want to listen to, what they crave every day is this. They want to hear what I call politiquack. And this derives from what I call sports quack. If people have listened to my show, they've heard me say this. This is what you go into a bar, you go into a pub, you go into wherever you're going to hang out at for the night. You want to get some food, you want to get a drink, you want to kick back and have some conversation, maybe some intelligent conversation. And all you hear is, "Oh my God, our team's going to do great this year. Whoa, look at those stats he's putting up. I mean, we got to trade this guy. The manager's got to go." I mean, it's just like we, like you're on the team, you're in the management, you're in the ownership. Yeah, we is the term that's used, right? Not they're doing that, we, right? And all it is, it becomes a 1984 duck speak, for those who are familiar with the term duck speak from George Orwell's book 1984. It's people just quacking back just like a duck, whatever the screen told them to say. The opinion of the political masters, and they're like, whack, 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 whack. This is what master told me to say. Whack, whack, this is what's happening. This is who we're fighting. This is what we're up against. Whack, 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 whack. It's ducks just quacking in a pond never endingly. And that's what I call sports quack. This is what our culture is, our trash culture in America. This is what it is. See, this is what the big difference is. It's just a war between ignorant losers and intelligent driven people that have the will activated. That's what the whole thing is about. And I have invented the term politiquack. It's just like duck speak. It's just like sports quack in a pub in American trash culture, or really trash culture throughout the world. It's all people fucking talk about is sports. I'm sure that's all you hear in English pubs or European pubs with soccer. I'm sorry, football. And, it's the same thing there, just like it is here with football, baseball, basketball, whatever. Okay? And now I've coined the term politiquack, because this is what people do. You ready to hear it? Here it is. This is what you hear every day on every social influencer's stream. Boy, what's Trump going to do today? How's Putin doing today? Oh, Hillary should be in jail now. Oh, what's Zelensky doing? What, he's coming to the White House for a for a conference? That's it. That's what it is all day, every day. And to be, it's funny. There's my new prop for Bobo. I'm gonna give Bobo, like, instead of his big pointy clown hat, I'm gonna give him like a hunting cap, like Elmer Fudd. He's still gonna have the big floppy shoes on, and he's gonna have a duck call. He'll have his horn in one hand and the duck call in the other. And we can pretty much make fun of it, but in all honesty, that's what it is. And all of the people engaging in it are fucking trash. And I'll look them in the face and fucking tell them that right to their fucking face. They're trash. Grow up. Stop being a fucking piece of trash. Talk about the real solutions and bring people on to all of your influential things, influential streams and shows that will actually talk about the real solutions instead of fucking trash bag politicwhack, because that's all it is, and that's all it's ever going to be. Politics is the satanic system of Satan and evil. Let me say that again. Politics is the satanic system of evil. God's system is natural law. The end. God's system is morality. Satan's system is authority and politics. And again, you don't need to believe in those in terms of personal beings. There are forces at work in the universe that in the occult world are called entropy and syntropy, or that's those are really, I'm sorry, the scientific terms. The occult terms are involution and evolution. Evolution is God's force, is the God force, and the satanic force is involution. And in scientific terms, syntropy is the ordering force, and entropy is the chaotic force that breaks everything down. So if you want to think about it in either of those terms, that's how it really works. Natural law is the syntropic God force at work in the universe, and politics and authority and government is the satanic force of entropy and total annihilative destruction that in the occult world is called involution, that works against human evolution. And this is what the average dolt in the freedom community does not understand and is unlikely to ever understand because of the failure of the rest of the freedom community not to bring these ideas forward to the influencers that have other people's ears. So the message is never going to reach them until we pressure the influencers to talk about the real matters. And until they do make it a very serious fucking effort to talk about the real matters, fall in love with fucking slavery, because that's all you're ever going to have. That's my message to everybody here and anybody listening.
Thank you so much for your time today, Mark. I want to share with you and the world that some of us have heard you. Some of us have listened to your work, and we are wanting to be the change we want to see in the world today. We hope that Soundpath becomes the opportunity for humanity to inspire care in others, to activate right action in others, so that each of these musicians' audiences can cross-pollinate, be aware of, podcasts they're doing or other genres of music to inspire them to become musicians and artists and performers and presenters. So I want to thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts for all the work that you've done to inspire us to right action. We are not many, but we are out here. We have heard you, and we are acting on it.
Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate anyone that is doing that aspect of the great work. So thank you for all of your efforts and John's efforts and everybody else involved with Soundpath. Really looking forward to the event on the 31st out here in Oaks. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump from where I'm at here in southeastern Pennsylvania. So I think it's going to be an awesome event. Really looking forward to all of the talented individuals that are going to be performing on that night. And I wish you the very best of luck with the organization and execution of that event. So thank you for doing that work.
Thank you so much. Take care, everybody.